Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you a grand solar minimum update Tuesday, April 30th, around 8:30 p.m. Mountain Time 2024. Ruang Volcano, another major paroxysm to 63,000 feet. Let's take a look. Holy macaroni. Over 16,000 instances of volcanic lightning on this baby, and we have the video footage to prove it to you. Take a look at the destruction at Ruang just about 24 hours ago. Now, some of those pyroclastic bombs you see on the left went up to 5 kilometers, and we'll get to that in just a moment. Keep calm. It's boom time. Late season snow returns in a big way for Oregon and Washington. Mountain snow is back in full force as some mountain ski resorts near a foot of snow fell in late April. More snow is expected to make its way over the Cascades this week, and the full forecast is coming up. Severe weather targeting America's heartland could halt the recovery efforts after the deadly tornado outbreak earlier this week. Flooding is already occurring in portions of Texas, where mandatory evacuations were ordered along the Trinity River in Polk County because rushing water has overflowed its banks. And that severe weather threat returning to the plains and the Midwest includes possibly a few tornadoes. Here is the severe thunderstorm forecast. Oh, that is for tomorrow night. Let's get to Tuesday. Tuesday night right now, Minneapolis, Des Moines, Kansas City, Wichita, Oklahoma, Wichita Falls, all the way down into the center of Texas. A huge swath where we could see some quick, rapidly developing storms overnight. Tomorrow, the severe thunderstorm forecast for Wednesday and Wednesday night, very likely in Wichita and in Kansas, as we can see the threat shifts position. Onekama, however you say it, Onekama Village. We're talking about Manistee County, Michigan. Reels from intense storm. Egg-size hail causes extensive damage.
Onekama is cleaning up after getting egg-size hail Saturday night during the storm. Up North Live's Audrey Boucher was in Manistee County today looking at the damage and talking with people who rode out the storm.
The noise, the winds, the continuous wind speed, and the size of the hail, I've never seen anything like it. It was exactly like something you'd see watching a Discovery Channel show on natural disaster or the Weather Channel.
Rick Rowe is one of the many residents of Onekama that's home is severely damaged.
Sign of the times, folks. We warned about it. I hope you're prepared. Spring snowstorm transforms the American Southwest into a mid-winter wonderland. Shut up, Al. Get in your hole. No bunt cake. Al Gore is very upset about these late spring snows. Recent snowfall is extending ski season into May. Hey. A powerful spring snowstorm has left ski resorts across the American Southwest sporting winter coats as we enter the final days of April 2024. Bryan Head Resort in Utah and Lee Canyon, Nevada picked up enough snow to extend their season with bonus weekends. Take a look here. That is what the mountain currently looks like. And that is fresh powder as we head into May. Hey. Let's pause that. Oregon ski resorts also reporting fresh snowfall. Sound the alarms. It's a powder day in the Pacific Northwest. Skiers and riders that frequent Oregon's still open ski resorts are enjoying fresh powder on the morning of April 30th, and more snow is on the way. And Colorado also included mountain snowstorms possible Wednesday. And here is the snowfall analysis from the last 72 hours. Hours of powers as we put Al in his hole. You can see almost all of the Rocky Mountains, the higher elevations, picking up at least a foot or more of snow in many regions. And more snow is coming. Strong to severe thunderstorms and heavy rain in the central U.S. Snow across the Northwest and the Northern Rockies. Strong to severe thunderstorms will be possible across the Central Plains and the Missouri Valley on Tuesday afternoon and evening. Heed the warnings. We showed you the maps. The main threat will be damaging wind and large hail. A late season low pressure system will bring widespread high elevation snow and lower elevation rain across the Pacific Northwest toward the northern Rockies through Tuesday. Guys, I don't know what just happened there, but let's just walk it through again. On the GFS model here, we have that severe weather threat down there in southwest Minnesota. Say it ain't soda, but it is. It's going to move through the evening. Most of Minnesota will be under severe weather threat. Some small pop-ups here potentially for Kansas, Oklahoma, and North Texas there, but nothing really until Thursday, May 2nd, when another severe weather threat enters the southern tier once again. We'll move this over to the GFS model and the total accumulated snow. As we can see here, we're going to just move it through the week. More snow for the West. Here's Wednesday, Thursday, Friday into Saturday morning, Saturday, Sunday, and that's when the fun day happens for the Sierras. Could be picking up 16 inches in the first week of May. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, and the onslaught of the global warming goodness continues maybe into summer. What a bummer. And if it's snowing in the U.S., it's certainly snowing in Canada. Hefty snowfall totals in parts of Alberta will make for hazardous travel, well, and some pretty pissed off global warmists. And millions of Aussies facing 10 consecutive days of rain as a weather system stalls on the East Coast. The incoming deluge of wet weather comes after the bomb officially declared the end of El Nino, with suggestions of another La Nina may now be headed our way. Hey, and you can see the severe weather threat there. Millions of Australians could be about to cop an absolute drenching over the next 2 weeks as an unusual weather system stalls over the nation's southeast, bringing soggy conditions set to repeat for days on end. So heed the warnings. You're about to flood out. Speaking of flooding, heavy rains threaten China's rice as extreme weather grips the south. Farmers plant rice seedlings here in Chongming Island in the Shanghai. China is forecast to get more heavy rain in the coming days, raising concerns that early rice crops in some areas of the world's biggest producer and consumer, well, they might get damaged. Hunga tunga much. As the UK breaks long-standing cold record, heavy spring snow sweeps northern India and Antarctica. Another record cold, minus 77 C or 106.6 below zero Fahrenheit. Holy macaroni. Now, Britain has been cold of late. UK tabloids are even drawing comparisons to the Tambora eruption of 1816, calling 2024 a year without a spring. Ding, ding. As thermometers continue to struggle even into late April. As reported by the Mirror, back in 1816, the enormous eruption of Mount Tambora beckoned in what has become known as the year without a summer. The historic blast sent an ash cloud into the atmosphere that blocked the sun out for months on end, killing crops across the world and plunging millions of people into seemingly never-ending stretch of cold and misery. Well, it's not that bad, but on Friday, April 27th, a low of minus 6.3 C was observed in the Lake District, England, the lowest temperature ever recorded in the United Kingdom for the date in books stretching back to the 1800s. And that, well, that's certainly not global warming, now is it? And there's more stories on the headline. It is continuously snowing in portions of India where that should not be the case. This guy looks pretty pimpin'. And it is cold in Antarctica. Antarctica has recorded a new low temperature for 2024. The anomalous negative 77 C or minus 106.6 Fahrenheit set on April 27th is a new record and a daily minimum. Yet the mainstream media does not report on this. They claim that Antarctica, well, is burning up. Seismic update. Good news is there's no real quakes of note, and we'll keep that. 5.1 here in Barbados, pretty interesting. And a 5.3 in Indonesia is normal activity. worldwide. Scientists now closely monitoring eruption potential amid a spike in quakes at Kilauea. A quick eruption just a few days ago that we reported on was short-lived, but it could be a precursor to things to come. And let's take a look at what they have to say.
Big Island seismic.
Oh, they didn't like that. Bear with me.
The Big Island seismic activity is ramping up at Kilauea Summit. Kilauea is not erupting, but due to a spike in quakes below the Upper East Rift Zone and the summit, some closures are now in place. It includes Helena Pali Road, as well as overnight use of the coastal backcountry, Nepal, and Pepeao Cabin. Kamaka Pili joins us now with more. Kamaka?
That's right, Gina. We've been seeing since midnight yesterday a real increase in terms of seismic activity over at Kilauea. Now, since then, we've been seeing around 300 different separate earthquakes taking place spread between the eastern rift zone and the southern caldera of Kilauea. Now, this is an increase. Prior to yesterday at midnight, we've been seeing around 2 to 5 earthquakes per hour. That's been increased to a rate of about 10 to 15 earthquakes an hour. Now, the good news is that majority of these earthquakes are between, at least the largest earthquakes were between 2 and 3 in terms of that magnitude, but majority of it was below. And the good news is right now it's not really possible to see if this is going to be leading to any eruption, but of course we'll be keeping our eyes on that.
Now, he just said the majority of the earthquakes are below. Thank God they're not above the ground. Yeah, that would be really worrying. So I tend to wonder who these people that they're paying to report on this data, who they actually are. They're not very smart people. But in fact, there is an uptick in activity in Hawaii. Now let's get on with the seismic update. Ruang volcano and that massive eruption, the largest paroxysm since the ongoing event happening now for the last 2 weeks. The spectacular paroxysm last night with tall lava fountains, significant pyroclastic flows, and ash to 5.8 kilometers is the least of the worries. The ash column itself was reported up to 63,000 feet. And quite a spectacular eruption indeed. After more than 12 days since the last paroxysm episode, the volcano showed another very dramatic activity last night. At about 1:15 local time, a Volcanian-type explosion occurred from the summit, generating a gray ash plume towards the north. This could be considered as a precursor of the massive eruptioning happening at the time of this update. At 2:35 local time, impressive incandescent lava fountains started to shoot into the sky. Continuous lava jets have been surpassing several hundreds of meters above the crater. Towering pillars of glowing lava bombs and maybe even blocks have been landing onto the entire edifice and causing glowing avalanches. Some of the pyroclastic material visible in the videos falling outside the frame of the border, meaning that it has reached considerable distances greater than 2 kilometers. Such a high magnitude explosive episode is known as a paroxysm, and this baby could be as high as VEI 5. So the most recent update, and we're going to get to that. Oh, dear. Where are we? Here we go. Here is the most recent update from Ruang Volcano, Sulawesi, and Sangihe Islands in Indonesia. Homes have been hit by lava bombs from 5 kilometers distance. You can see the roof is burned off here and all the lava bombs that have accumulated. Unfortunate set of events there. Now, the eruption last night at the volcano caused significant damage to several houses in the Tagulandang province. The paroxysmal episode was of such intensity that ballistic radius of thrown lava bombs targeted residents at distances ranging from 3.8 to 4.8 kilometers from the summit. Houses struck by lava bombs ignited immediately because their roofs are, well, highly flammable. Here we can see an example of that. And take a look at this heavy ash column. Holy macaroni, some of the pictures are absolutely spectacular. Not much more to report on today. Here is that volcanic ash in an entire huge region from Ruang coming out today with discrete volcanic ash to 63,000 feet. Sabankai to 22 today. Popo to 18. Sangay to 18. Ongoing volcanic ash to 63,000 reported today. Liwatobi to 7,000. Poas to 10,000. Again, we reported on the sad state of affairs of volcanic bombs reaching 5 kilometers distance. Liwatobi Laki going to 7,000 feet today. And Ruang, the most recent, another flight level 10,000 still with ash. Up to 10,000 feet still with ash from the Ruang eruption. And this may not be over, so stay tuned for more updates. As we can come take a look at some of the footage we have over on our Twitter. Here you can see some of those 16,000 lightning events due to the volcanic eruption. This is called volcanic lightning, and it is ever increasing as we report on it. Have you noticed? Let's take a look at the eruption itself. And this is just happening 24 hours ago, the second and the largest paroxysm in a sequence of events that have occurred over the last 12 days. Is this a precursor to bigger things to come? Absolutely spectacular. Come over to our Twitter feed, Oppenheimer Ranch Project, at Diamond the Dave. Formerly Twitter, now known as X, but it will always be Twitter to me because that's the frickin' website. All right, moving on to space weather news. We just had a near X flare moments ago as we were preparing the show. It shot all the way up to M9.5. Now, the good news, it was a departing group of sunspots that have moved off the eastern limb here. Well, western limb. It's opposite. I'm sorry. And we have also some interesting space weather to report on. Just about 12 hours ago, we had a phi angle shift and a shift in the BZ. So we have some kind of coronal hole coupling, which has pushed the KP up into G1 geomagnetic storm. We are now at KP 4.3 as a low-level geomagnetic storm. Could be lighting up auroras this evening across North America. So head out and look up as this is an ongoing event, and we're keeping a close eye on it. It doesn't look like any accentuation is currently happening, but there was a small CME that came off the sun that may be hitting anytime soon. Now, the M9.5 solar flare from AR 3654 is so far around that at this level, probably no amount of coronal mass ejection would even reach Earth, as it was an impulsive event. But we will keep you informed as the telemetry arrives. Astronomers thought they knew this fabulous nebula, then they saw it in high def thanks to the James Webb. And well, the Horsehead Nebula looks a little less like a horse than it did before. That's all I can say. Not much horsehead left in the nebula. So apparently you got to squint your eyes and look at a distance to make it look like a horse head. Similar to the pyramid on Mars, which is not a pyramid at all. I do digress. An engineer says he's found a way to overcome Earth's gravity, but no one's paid him, so he's not going to tell anybody. This new propulsion system could rewrite the rules of spaceflight, not to mention completely defy conventional physics. But the inventor could also be spontaneously suicided with 2 shots to the back of the head. Enough said. Epic blazes threaten Arctic permafrost. Can firefighters save it? Well, no, because if you put the fire out, it doesn't burn the necessary acreage to prevent future forest fires. When will these eco-Nazis learn? Speaking of eco-Nazis, I just became one of them. Caught on camera, boaters in Boca Raton seen dumping trash into the ocean. They're not boaters. These are entitled rich ass tarts. Yeah, they don't own this boat. They're like 15 years old. And there they are dumping trash directly into the ocean. Let's see what happened here. You can see huge trash containers on a boat with about 10 or 12 teenagers. And watch what occurs right here, right now, right before your very eyes. These entitled rich kids just dump trash directly into the pristine waters of Boca Raton while they're driving their parents' $450,000 triple off-board engine. There's the trash. Look at these kids. Now, good news is these schmucktards have been caught. Yeah. They were all fined and 1,000 supervised community service hours each with an environmental nonprofit. So, good news there. A little bit of retribution for some of the poorly trained young humans on Earth that are not going to make it much longer. Speaking about not making it, Razer made millions of dollars selling a mask that was not N95. Yeah, it was a scam, and it cost over $100. And Razer now has to fork over $1.1 million in refunds to customers who purchased the RGB-clad Zephyr face mask. Now, the good news is that the only people that bought these were Democrat weirdos that are Nazis. Anyway. You want to survive and thrive in the coming times because the power is about to go out. There is no way they're going to allow an election with a decrepit, dementia-ridden patient like Joe Biden as their candidate. So I imagine World War III will start in the next 6 months. In the meantime, you better get growing. All heirloom vegetable seeds from the Alliance of Native Seed Keepers are the cheapest on earth. $2 per seed pack. $25 or more gets you free shipping. Coupon code ORP2024 gets you 10% more off. Go do it. And if you haven't purchased Crow Canyon Petroglyph Tour tickets now, Armageddon is coming. The end of the world. There will be no more petroglyph trips. So you better get this one. One of the most epic petroglyph experiences anywhere on Earth. In this remote location, you need a guide, especially if you want to see everything in a single day. Rex Bear and I will assure that in one of the most memorable and petroglyph experiences anywhere on Earth. Just a couple of tickets left, and you don't have much time, so pick them up while they're still there, just like the seeds. And that's a boom to knowledge. Please share this video. We are Shadow Band. We need your help to grow. Become a Patreon. Support the work we do. We love you. I'm about to go plant some produce out in the raised beds in the middle of the night because that's how you've got to do it in the spring. Ding, dang. Be safe. Grow food. We love you.